to Cornwall Seal Group Research Trust's virtual conference, Sharing Our Seas, Seals and People. We are excited to share an inspirational series of talks exploring a variety of aspects of seal conservation in the UK. And it's our 20th birthday. In that time, we've done 35,000 plus surveys, processed over 1 million photos for 72,000 plus seal IDs. To make sure we can continue this important work, check out our website to join our Wild Seal Supporter Scheme, back our crowdfunding campaign, or shop in our online store. Thank you for your support.
Hi everyone, I'm Marion Beaulieu. I'm the Amazement and Discovery Ranger as well as the Photo ID Ranger for Cornwall Seal Group Research Trust. I'm going to talk to you about our pioneering seal photo ID work and how our incredibly dedicated network of citizen scientists has evolved over the past few years to support this unprecedented research.
Photo identification is a great way of getting to know what a seal gets up to without affecting them at all. We are able to use this fantastic tool because each seal has a fur pattern that is unique to them and it stays the same throughout their life. Of course, different people might pick up on different shapes. So if you look at this gorgeous adult female here, on her back you might see a mushroom or a tornado, and on her neck you might be able to pick up on a robot or maybe a rainbow. But ultimately, once you know a seal's unique fur pattern, you'll always know which one they are. We follow a very strict protocol. We need to have 5 exact pattern matches at the same relative positions on the seal's body. Ideally on both sides of the seal, but that's not always possible. This then has to be agreed by 2 experienced photo ID people. If one of them thinks it is not a match, then we do not take it as an ID. Why is photo ID so important? From photo identification, we can learn about seal movements, life history, behavior, habitat use, and more. Most of the seals known to Cornwall Seal Group Research Trust actually travel around the Celtic Sea. Seals in Cornwall have also been seen as far as Wales, France, Ireland, Devon and Dorset. And more recently, we made a link with the Isle of Man over 450 kilometers away from us. Some seals commute across national borders with seasonally repeated patterns. By cataloguing females and their pups and sharing photos with other counties and countries, we have discovered that seals don't always follow the rule book. This is the case for Snowdrop here. It is thought that females will go back to where they were born to give birth to their pups at the same site every year. Well, Snowdrop is one of the few seals that we know has had pups at more than one site. And since she's had pups both in Wales and in Cornwall, we have absolutely no idea where she was born. Our photo ID work has helped validating the protocols that British Divers Marine Life Rescue, the Cornish Seal Sanctuary and the RSPCA have for rescue, rehab and release. We know from photo ID that entangled animals that have been rescued and let go straight away have survived, and they have even recovered very quickly in the wild. We also know seals that have been rehabbed as a white-coat pup themselves. This is the case for Hufflepuff here. And 6 years later, she was known to have a pup of her own. Being able to identify some of the seals recorded by the Cornwall Wildlife Trust Marine Stranding Network, we have discovered over the past few years that a lot of male grey seals are dying in their prime. Some from being by-caught, but many not displaying any obvious reasons. Flax, who had been rescued from netting as a young seal, was found dead at only 7 years old. Fork, who was well known in West Cornwall and in Penwith, was around 8 when he was reported to the Strandings hotline. And finally, to only name a few, Horns, who was a regular to Lizard South and the Roseland, was just over 12. Without photo ID, aging these seals would have been near impossible. We have discovered that research on the recovery rate of a seal haul-out after a disturbance incident does not necessarily show us the whole picture without photo ID. Seals may come back onto the haul-out site at some point after the incident, but are they definitely the same seals? From our data, we can say that it is not generally the case. It is way more complicated than this. Knowing a specific seal's story and being able to share it with people makes this individual a great ambassador for the species. An example of the power of this personal connection is a wonderful experience that Chris Packham and his daughter Megan had with Medallion Man while they were filming for the Asperger's and Me TV program. Sue always says that when she first met Chris a few years prior to this, he said to her, "Seals don't float my boat." Well, this changed to a big "I love seals" after they encountered with Medallion Man. In short, we've learned there is no such thing as an average seal. So for us, every seal counts. All this information and knowledge is the result of thousands of hours of surveying, but even more hours of processing the photos afterwards. We do all this by eye, using PowerPoint and the life-saving find function. All seals sighted with distinctive fur patterns are compiled into a catalogue and given keywords according to the pictures or shapes that can be seen in their fur. Survey photos are compiled into albums for each date and site. We have to be very rigorous so that the data is independently, retrospectively verifiable. ID confirmations are made by searching for the keywords and putting a catalogue photo of the seal into the album with a red border, just like you can see here. Findings for each survey are recorded into our database, thanks to a standardized way of summarizing them into the album itself, which makes the process easier. Okay, so let's talk numbers for a minute. In 2016, we processed 3,770 surveys. In 2017, we processed 4,047 surveys. In November of 2017 alone, we worked our way through just over 11,000 photos. At that time, we had over 40 people sending photos in on a regular basis. However, we had less than 10 people who were helping us with processing the photos. And this is why, in January 2018, we started our Seal Squad Explorer Program Roadshow project, generously funded by the Postcode Local Trust and players of the People's Postcode Lottery. In addition to inspiring and exciting more members of the public with our astonishing seal stories, the project had an important focus on developing local hubs of community seal experts to liaise with our core team. Over the following 12 months, we improved and set up 14 hubs, giving 20 training sessions to groups and individuals. 4,288 surveys were carried out and processed, and our growing number of photo ID volunteers made nearly 8,000 re-IDs between them. We were very fortunate to get a second year of funding from the Postcode Local Trust for this project, and the subsequent Heritage Lottery Fund grant allowed us to take this all much further. We are currently still catching up on photos with some of the more recently set up hubs, but so far, for 2019, we have processed 4,742 surveys. That is 500 more than the previous year. Our now 20+ photo ID hubs have made their way through nearly 250,000 photos that they have put into 2,000 albums. Thanks to all our amazing, enthusiastic and passionate volunteers, we have achieved more than we could have ever dreamed of. With our new volunteer photo ID coordinator, Kate Williams, we are currently streamlining our data processing system, and working on simplifying the way we all communicate and share things remotely. So massive thanks to every single one of our survey and photo ID volunteers and to our generous funders, without whom we would never have been able to discover just how complicated life is for our globally rare grey seals. If you have any questions or would like to get in touch with me, my email address is marion@cornwallsealgroup.co.uk. If you have any seal sightings or photos that you'd like to send to us, please email them to sightings@cornwallsealgroup.co.uk.
Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to my talk. Enjoy the rest of the conference.